Ask Brad Meck his favorite hobby and he will reply fishing without wasting a second. He loves it and goes for it whenever he gets the chance. However, with time the burden of work had increased that consumed all of his attention. Despite that, the man managed to sneak out some time for his favorite hobby. This one-of-its-kind incident took place during one of his fishing trips. It was one of the weekends of May and he had gone all alone on a fishing trip to James Creek, Raystown Lake. He was expecting the same old experience, but what he actually got was beyond his imagination. The man was in his boat fishing when he saw a log approaching him. Initially, the man did not give it much importance but soon felt his heart skip a beat when he realized that the object floating towards him was not a log. Brad spends his free time fishing. He started fishing with his father when he was just a child. And now as he was living away from his parents, he would go fishing with his friends. But one day he decided to go fishing all alone. Little did he know, this expedition of his was going to make him famous overnight. That particular day, he went fishing on his own. It was a rather cold day of May. That day was bright and warm, making it perfect for fishing. Brad visited the same old lake and this time found himself a new spot. He liked experimenting and that is why he decided to do fishing on a different spot. According to Brad, the best thing about the place is that it keeps you away from the noises of the world. This was for the first time he realized how quiet and beautiful this place was. Coming with friends was an altogether different experience than this one. That day, he noticed many new things about the place. Brad had been looking for an opportunity to spend some time alone with himself for a long while. Lately, the man had become too busy with his work to have time for anyone. And so when he got some time off, he decided to go on a fishing trip as it was his best stress buster. Raystown Lake is the largest lake there in Pennsylvania. Despite being a man-made reservoir, it has managed to earn a spot in the visitor's heart. It is a peaceful place. Interestingly, the lake has a shoreline stretching up to 118 miles and only 4% of it is developed. That adds to its beauty. This place provides a perfect opportunity for nature lovers to get lost in nature. As far as Brad was concerned, many more stunning realizations came his way that day. There was no phone signal at that place. As the lake was situated far from the city, it did not have many facilities. He was fine with that as he actually wanted to get disconnected from the world for a few hours. It was an ordinary day for everyone except for Brad Meck. He had no idea that the fishing trip he had undertaken was going to change his life for good. Unaware of that, he packed his stuff and headed for the lake. He woke up early that morning to make all the necessary arrangements. He was very excited to start the trip. The man washed his car and placed his bag in the backseat. After putting on his favorite music, the man drove towards the lake. He sensed nothing odd up till now. He picked the fishing rod in his hand and settled himself to start the business. The man was expecting a quiet day. He hurled the line into the water and began to wait for it to move. As he was fishing for the first time on that spot, he did not know how many catches would he make. The other thing he liked about fishing was that he used to get to ride the boat. He loved boating as well. The man chose his favorite boat and drove towards the center of the lake. He was enjoying his time very much. Things were only going to get more complicated. After spending a few minutes, he realized that the spot was not for fishing as he got nothing. Nevertheless, he kept on trying to look for the fish. Was he really going to catch anything? Well, contrary to all his assumptions, he actually caught something amazing. While waiting for the fish to get caught, he spotted something bobbing up and down in the water. Initially, he did not give it much thought as he assumed the object to be a log. There were many trees around and maybe this log had fallen off them. But as the log moved closer, he began to sense something off about it. The brown-colored log was floating towards him. Once again he directed his attention to his fishing rod. The man had not caught a single fish as of yet. He wondered what could be the reason, and it was then his attention got diverted to the log again. Well, the log was sticking out like a sore thumb in the lake. It was the only thing floating on transparent, clean, and blue water. For obvious reasons, the log was attracting his attention. He took out his phone from the pocket and clicked a picture of the log. It looked beautiful amid the blue water. And when the log reached close enough to be identified, the man felt his heart in his mouth. It was not a log. The man kept staring at the object in disbelief. He felt as if his hands had gone numb. Scaringly, the man was all alone on the spot. There was not a single soul around. The suspicious object made its way to his boat. Brad did not realize when the rod slipped out of his hand. However, he managed to get his hand back on it. He was trying to figure out a way to tackle the situation, but he clearly had run out of ideas. Brad had to take pictures of the object because he knew no one would believe him if he would tell the story without any evidence to his friends. He hastily began clicking pictures of the object. His heart was still racing as his doubts were still not confirmed. The man recalled, "I saw it coming towards me. I thought it was just a beaver or something like that." His second guess was wrong too. The man was laying his eyes on something unbelievable. Brad further said, "It got closer, and I looked at it and thought, holy crap." He was right, there was actually wild animal floating in the water. All his confusions dispelled when the animal stretched his head up. A current coursed through Brad's body. The creature was only a couple of meters afar when he realized that it was a bear cub. The bear looked extremely tired. It was too young to swim in the water. Despite its age, the cub had managed to survive until now. Furthermore, the cub was unable to hold his head above the water. It was throwing its hands and legs in the water to reach the boat. What should one do on encountering such kind of situation? If we listen to wildlife experts, whoever gets confronted by wild animals, the person should leave the animal be and step back. Thereafter, they should make a call to experts. However, here the situation was entirely different. Firstly, Brad's phone was running out of the network. Secondly, even a minute delay could have cost Cub's life. The cub had almost drowned. There was no way he was going to leave the cub all alone to fend for itself. He had to think on his feet to rescue the helpless animal. Brad said that the cub was going to drown if I didn't help it. He soon realized that he had only one option. In order to rescue the cub, he had to take it out with his own hand. Well, it involved a lot of risk for Brad. What if he gets bitten by the cub? But at the same time, there was no other option. So, he decided to keep his fear at bay. The man extended his hands to the water in order to take the cub in. Just as I was about ready to grab it, I thought to myself, please don't bite me. Whereas the man wanted to rescue the cub, he did not want to get landed in any trouble. The man must not have ever imagined that his casual fishing trip would turn into a rescue mission. The man had actually risked his life to save the bear cub despite many fatal possibilities. What if he had got attacked by the bear cub? The first part was done. He had managed to drag the wet bear up to the boat. Thankfully, Brad remained unscathed. It was as calm as can be. It didn't show any hostility towards me. Maybe the bear cub was too exhausted to do anything, or perhaps the cub knew that the man was trying to rescue it. He had rescued the cub, but what was he going to do after that? His phone was useless as there was no network in it. Additionally, he had no experience in dealing with any kind of animal. After pondering a while, he came with a very dangerous idea. He decided to take the cub back to the forest where he had come from. But before that, he had to make sure that the cub was doing fine. He dried the cub with a small towel he had. After that, he steered the cub in the direction he had found bear swimming. His mother must be looking for him. However, the man did not want to confront his mother. Brad shared, I kind of figured maybe the mom swam across first. Perhaps the cub could not match her pace and got left behind. Whereas the cub was struggling in the water, his mother had reached the shore. The man took the cub to the bank and put it on the ground. The cub gave a look round the forest and circled back at Brad. The man further explained, because the baby was so little, it was struggling. I just figured she'd be up on the bank somewhere, so that's where I dropped it off and figured hopefully they'd get reunited. He kept gazing at Brad with his tiring eyes. It seemed as if he was showing his gratitude to him. After that, the cub started looking for his mother. Brad opened up that he had never thought anything else other than getting it and help it and take it to shore. Brad took giant steps towards his boat after leaving the cub on the shore. He was glad that he did not have to face Mama Bear, as the encounter could have led to some serious consequences for him. The man was happy that he brought the bear back to safety. The man was aware of the warnings issued by the Pennsylvania Game Commission that prohibits one from getting involved in any kind of interaction with wild animals. But he wasn't left with much time, as the cub needed immediate assistance. Even though he was well aware of the bear's nature, he went on to help him. Well, it takes a lot of courage to do something that Brad did. The man could have gotten in big trouble, but instead of leaving the cub to his fate, he decided to help him out. Not only that, but he took him to the forest as well. So, how did you like this story? Isn't it amazing? Before starting his day, Brad must not have imagined what was he going to face that day. Despite all the doubts and fears, he decided to help the cub. Don't know if best, but this trip must have become the most memorable trip of his life.